what's going on everyone? Valeria here, and in today's video I want to talk about the 3 things that help me improve my skin and my acne. And there's like a 4th bonus one. It is like a super obvious cliche, but it is important that you know what you're talking about, what you're doing. You're not going to study to become a dermatologist maybe, but it's important that you know what you put on your skin so that you educate yourself. If you find a dermatologist you can completely trust, probably even if you don't know exactly what is going on your skin, that's okay. But you know, especially on the internet, when there's so much information available, so many videos, so many articles, how do you know who you can trust? Just a little disclaimer, I'm clearly not one of these dermatologists, certified dermatologists, doctors that put sources under their videos, because you know I don't have that kind of knowledge, but I have studied myself because I was at a point where I was very frustrated and I couldn't find anyone that could help me, and I'm talking about professionals. So I started researching and studying myself. So I can't reference to articles and studies, but you know, I offer my own experience. So I never say, oh, you have to do this and this because this is what is gonna cure you. No, I just say, this is what I did and this is what worked for me. So if you wanna give it a try, you know that in one case, you know, in the case of one specific person that is me, it worked. So I just offer my experience. So what happened to me, what got me really motivated to study and to research for myself, is that I was very frustrated because I had been fighting acne for years just with the use of benzoyl peroxide. And I used to go to dermatologists and they were like, okay, what's your problem? I have acne, I can't get rid of it. So, oh, but your skin is not that bad, you know, you have spots but you don't have a mess or cystic acne or anything. And I'm like, yeah, I've been using benzoyl peroxide and that helps me keeping it at bay. And they were like, okay, well, so just keep using it. Thank you. I mean, I was keeping acne at bay, but my skin was so dry. It was like, I don't know, there's a kind of paper that is all wrinkly. Well, that's how my skin looked like. It looked like so, like, lifeless, you know, dry, like desert. Very, very bad texture, and I was very unhappy, very dull. So I said, okay, there must be something else other than benzoyl peroxide in the world to cure acne. So I started watching videos on YouTube and researching blogs and reading articles, and I got to know what I was doing to my skin. I was just trying it out. And yeah, I mean, with all the knowledge I got, I was able to build a skincare routine, very easy, like very simple. I had a skincare routine before, but my skincare routine was like using a benzoyl peroxide based face wash, drying my face, and going in with a benzoyl peroxide cream. That was my skincare routine, believe it or not. So when I started to have a knowledge in actives, ingredients, how the skin works, the different layers of the skin, the importance of water, the importance of oil, the vitamins. When I started to have this kind of knowledge, then I was able to build a proper skincare routine. And you know, my skin was so mad at me at the beginning, especially the first active I introduced was vitamin C, the drunk elephant one. And my skin was flaking, it was falling into pieces. And so then I remember, you know, I didn't know how to handle it. When I was finding myself dealing with, you know, the side effects and my skin changing and healing, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? This is a disaster, what's happening? But I know I'm very good at that. Like, I'm patient, so I knew that I just had to be patient. Even if it was very bad, like the situation at the moment, I knew that I was gonna get to a certain point where I could see, I could appreciate results. You know, it has to get worse before it gets better. And So I just stick to that. I remember I bought the I'm from Honey mask, to balance the flaking and the peeling and the dryness and the drama that was going on with the use of vitamin C. And it took a while. I think it took a month or two, but then my skin started to behave, to have a proper cycle, to be plumper. And I had two wrinkles that were starting to show on my forehead. Do you see any wrinkles? Because I don't, and that's just because I got rid of benzoyl peroxide and I started using proper actives, and not just actives, like the skincare routine itself with, hyaluronic acid, a proper face wash, proper moisturizer, just, proper exfoliation, all the things you probably know if you're into skincare. Retinoids. I have here my brand new different cream because I'm running out of the older one. It took me a while. Obviously, if I was coming from a completely sad skincare routine that was just benzoyl peroxide face wash and benzoyl peroxide cream, I couldn't jump straight into retinoids. So as I said, I started with vitamin C as the first active I use. Then I think I used niacinamide, which is still like my skin's favorite product, my skin's favorite element. So I still use it nowadays. Every morning is the first serum that I put on. And yeah, so after, let me think, I think a couple of years that I was, having a proper skincare routine, I decided to try different, because even though I had a proper skincare routine, my acne, you see, it's hormonal acne. I still have spots. You see, do I have spots on my forehead? No, I don't. I have a spot on my nose. Okay, thank you. But my spots and my drama area is around my mouth and along my jawline. Look at that. See, hormonal acne. That's the typical hormonal acne, right? So, if I don't regulate my hormones, I can have the perfect skincare routine, but I will still have spots, especially before my period and over my period. Then it starts getting quiet. But I'll always have spots, because that's because of my hormones, not my skincare routine that is wrong or anything. But my skin had definitely improved after I started having proper skincare routine. But I wanted something more, and I just could hear everywhere that retinoids are wonderful. They are totally game changers, because they speed up the cell turnover, and they give you that glow that only vitamin A can give you. So I mean, I also knew that they make, since they shed off the top layer of the skin, and the skin renewal is so fast, your skin is way more sensitive to sunlight, UV rays, UVBs, like more sensitive in general. So I was scared, because once you start, you just cannot go back, really. And you have to be very good at using sunscreen all the time, even if it's cloudy, if it's rainy, if it's winter, if it's summer, if you're inside, if you're outside. And I'm like, okay, sunscreen maybe breaks me out, and I'm not gonna be so good, and then I'm gonna have like a burnt face and hyperpigmentation. It's gonna be worse. No, no. I started using Differin, and let me tell you, during the purge, I've had the worst skin I've ever had in my whole life. I've had the worst skin, as you can see. I definitely had the worst skin I've ever had in my whole life, and it lasted for months, and I was really upset. And it just messes with your head, because even if you're strong and you know that it has to get worse before it gets better, but like those break. When I started using vitamin C, I was peeling, like my skin, I was like a snake changing its skin. So it was like just this skin coming off at all times. Okay, but my face, like, I looked like a normal human being. But when I was purging, I was so sad, because I was full of breakouts, like bleedy, gunky. Like I was feeling horrible. I was super depressed, and you can't even cover it too much because if you have open wounds and you cover them up, you just add dirt to an open wound. It's not happening. So I was just going around with this terrible face, and even if people do not look at you, you feel like they do. And I was really sad, and so many times I was thinking, oh my god, maybe it's not the differing, maybe it's something else. Like it's not the purge of the differing, it's just that I'm reacting bad, or it's not the cream for me, I should use something else. But I remember I just stuck to that. I said, no, I have to just keep doing it. If in 6 months I'm still like this, then I'm gonna quit. But I have to be strong and keep doing it. And I remember at some point I incorporated benzoyl peroxide, because there is a cream, I think, or a gel that is called Epiduo. I think it's a gel that is a combination of adapalene, so the active that different is based on, and benzoyl peroxide. So I started putting benzoyl peroxide first, and then a layer of differin. And in the morning I was using all the time my niacinamide. And when I started doing that, probably, it was a combination of things. Like I started incorporating benzoyl peroxide, but also it was, heading toward the end of the purge. So my skin started normalizing, and, I entered this phase more or less. So definitely I was very happy. And then at some point I started, I think after 6 or 7 months that I was using different, I started introducing retinoid in the form of retinoids that I bought in Spain, because you can buy it without prescription. I bought the lowest strength, so 0.025% of retinoid. And I use it only twice per week. I've had no problems with purging, breakouts, peeling. When I introduced the retinoids, my skin had really no kind of issues whatsoever. And this is how my skin looks like now. The texture is really good, and I'm very happy. I'm kind of happy, I have these huge pores and blackheads, but I do not care. Like my main issue is acne and breakouts. If I have big pores, that's the last of my problems. Like if they go away, I found a way to not go away, because they will not. You can't shrink pores. But if I will find a way to make them less noticeable, that's good. But I'm not working on that actively, because it doesn't bother me. I just want to have a healthy looking skin, complexion, a nice texture, little to no breakouts, little to no fine lines, as long as it's possible. That is my main purpose, and I'm still working on it. Blackheads and big pores, I mean, I've had them for my whole life, so I'm not really bothered yet. So diet is important, and I've noticed, even though my skin, as I said, has become a lot nicer with a proper skincare routine and the introductions of vitamin A, I've noticed a further improvement since I have drastically reduced the sugar. And I've always known it since I started studying myself. I've always known it that having like a very reduced amount of sugar in your diet is good for your health and is good for your skin. But I've always had a super sweet tooth, so I've never been able to really get completely off sugar or reducing it dramatically, because if I didn't have something sweet, I couldn't leave the table after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner. Like even like a small piece of chocolate, but I needed it. In February I got sick, and for some reason, like I cannot eat anything sweet because it just makes me nauseous. I hate anything sweet. I totally changed. Like I'm not pregnant, and I wasn't pregnant in February, and I'm craving vinegar, or anything with vinegar. I would put vinegar on everything. So I noticed that my skin is doing a lot better since I'm not eating that much sugar. That my diet is healthy in general, and it was always healthy. The only difference is that I've reduced sugar, and it's not a big effort because for some reason my body is completely rejecting sugar. I think that it might have been because I got sick, so I had a lot of inflammation in my body. My throat is still sore, so I still have inflammation, and probably, since sugar causes inflammation, it's a natural trick that my body puts on to, to defend itself against further inflammation. I guess that's the thing, and I don't know. We'll see once I get better if I get back to craving sugar or not. Dermaroller. I started using Dermaroller couple of weeks ago. No, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I've used it 3 times. I've used it once per week, so I've started using it 3 weeks ago, and I can't see very obvious results so far, but apparently Dermaroller is really good to stimulate collagen production. So in a while, I expect to see my skin a little bit plumper maybe. And I had some small acne scars, especially right here and here. So we will see if Dermaroller is going to help me improving even more the texture of my skin and the appearance, especially also, it could be like something to improve the appearance of these huge pores and these huge blackheads. But since I've used it only 3 times, and so it's just 3 weeks. This is like a maybe. So Dermaroller might improve your skin, the appearance of blackheads, hyperpigmentation, scars, fine lines, plump your skin. But we will see, because so far I haven't noticed great changes in my skin, and so I will have to update you on that. And this video is already pretty long, so I hope you enjoyed it and got something useful for you from it. So give it a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will link some videos down below, like about my experience with benzoyl peroxide and starting different and Dermaroller. So you can see, and you can binge watch my older videos if you're interested, and join me on my social medias if you want to as well. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.